This is a very. I have to get in on this conversation. I have to say, I did not intend to do a podcast today talking about Nikki Haley. I intended to do a no. I intended to do a podcast talking about my class yesterday, where we had John Anthony Castro, who is a 2024 presidential candidate, a Republican, and he addressed about 25 persons from my class at the Jamaica Theological Seminary class I lectured. But I was on Twitter, and I saw and Nikki Haley spoke. I think they had something yesterday. The Conservatives had something yesterday. And I had to get in. I had to respond. And I'm going to share with you what Nikki Haley said in a terse tweet and what I said, because this is absolute. Listen to what Nikki Haley said just now on Twitter. And well, not just on Twitter, but she posted it on her Twitter page, Nikki Haley. She said, "I'm running for president to stop America's downward spiral towards socialism and end the self-loathing that has taken over our country. I'm running for president to renew an America that's strong and proud, not weak and woke." So I responded by saying, "That's your talking point? No, that's your talking point? The same old. One that is full of divisiveness and in ideology, that is insensitive to the past and the current, that have divisiveness. One that is full of divisiveness.
Divisiveness towards who?
This black versus white thingy. This divisiveness. Because talking this woke ideology. Yes.
Oh, woke is black terminology?
Well, I mean, it's part of what they say, which is what they call it. Critical race theory.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's part of that, because that's part of woke.
I'm not familiar. I mean, I've heard of, but I don't know exactly what critical race theory says.
And we talked about this in the class yesterday, and Don Castro alluded to critical race theory. Okay, looking critically at the history that has created the mixed realities of black and created the black position in the world. Okay, they don't want you to revisit the strategy behind it, but that is not what I'm getting at. Nikki Haley said I am running for president.
Excuse me, why are you attacking Nikki Haley?
Because she's supposed.
First Indian.
That's that's token. That's tokenism. Okay,
Oh
that's the house slave.
What does that mean?
That's the house slave mentality here.
What does tokenism mean?
I mean, one or two small representatives of people who have realized stuff, but they only realize just to continue to the narrative. They say, okay, if she can arrive, why you can't? If she can get there, why you can't get there? But then the system is stacked against them. They handpick cherry pick one and two people to get wealthy, so as to come up to continue the facade, the narrative that says, you see, if LeBron James can do it, you can do it. Okay, all right. But how many spots are reserved for the LeBron James and so on? Exactly. But anyways, I mean, so I said that's your talking point. The same old. One that is full of divisiveness and in ideology, that is insensitive to the past and the current, that have affected the lives of certain people, black and brown people. One that demeans those fighting for change, calling it woke. I thought you were different.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, Nikki, you're welcome to come to the podcast. Come on the podcast to respond. Or you may be above it. Okay. But just so you know, I am part of the electorate. All right? I get to vote. I get to vote for president.
You do that?
I'm a citizen and I get to vote. And I will vote for the very first time in the next election in 2024. I will vote.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And many people who listen to this podcast, the majority of the people that listen to this podcast is between the age. Theo Jackson is doing well. But no, but I wanted to continue on the point. She said that I'm running for president to stop America's downward spiral towards socialism. This is ridiculous. She is unintellectual and unacademic and does not deserve. This is the 21st century. People are not easily duped anymore about using the same talking points about socialism and capitalism. There is no capitalism because capitalism. Listen, I promote free market. I promote capitalism, but one that is fair. But it is not fair. It is not full of the spirit. And I talk about that in neo-capitalism and the death of nations. The capitalism that we have today is a neo-capitalism, one that is full of pharisicalism, hypocrisy and duplicity. One that is full of bureaucracy, do as I say but not as I do. Full of arrangements that only benefit the few over the many.
So what arrangements would...
Socialism, let me no wait. People don't trick us by talking about socialism. What is socialism? Don't talk about Stalinism because Stalinism is not socialism. That's despotism and totalitarian. And no, you can't.
Totalitarian.
That's totalitarianism is not socialism. There is no country today that represents socialism or Marxism. Those countries are a facade. Okay.
Marxism is a concept of the past.
Right. Well, it's a concept. It's a utopia. They said it's a concept culture utopia that speak of everybody being equal. Yes, with everybody. There's equality in society. Where we're all.
There's never been equality in society.
I mean, there will never be because of the fallen human nature. A human nature that has been damaged by colonization. Okay, damaged by colonization, where we cannot think. Yes, damage our minds and this privilege damages. We can't think in equality because we live in a society that is bent in a human nature that is steeped in id.
What?
In the id.
What's that?
You know, Sigmund Freud talks about the ego, the superego, and the id. The id.
Yeah.
The id is the pleasure principle.
Again,
yes. The id.
Yes.
The
again,
ego, the superego, and the
concept.
Yes.
A concept from the past.
Psychoanalytic. The id.
Is it relevant? Is it still relevant today?
Can I tell you, Sigmund Freud is his conversation. I don't know. He was beyond his time.
Of course he was.
He was
from the 18th century.
But he is the father of psychoanalytic theory. Can I tell you? But he was right. But I talk about Marxism. Marxism, they set up, and I tell you, we can't achieve. We will never be able to achieve. We can't think of a utopia, a society free of violence. We can't think of a society where all human beings are equal. I know, but we can't think of that because we are bent to think in certain way that privileges the few over the many. A society that is systematically developed in strategy. Yes, we are bent. We are. When I say bent, it's strong language to say that we are conditioned, various conditioning to think in category. You go fill up paper, you black, white, or whatever. Yes. There is no generational wealth among people of color.
No, there is not.
There is none. Okay. Yes. Okay. But yet the Jews who said that our land was stolen, they can get back land and money. But black people, no, we are not important enough to get reparations. Anyways, this is the 21st century, Nikki Haley. This is the 21st century. Don't trick us and talk the usual talking points about socialism. Because first of all, there is no socialism. And I'm not a socialist in the sense that you think of totalitarianism. Okay? I believe in a free market, one that is fair, one that is competitive, that's truly competitive, but one that recognizes that some people are ahead of the other through strategy, through theft and despot, and and we have to help the people who are behind so that we can start at the same level. That is socialism or capitalism. But Max Weber talk about the Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism. There is no Protestant ethic in our capitalism today. Don't trick us and dupe us, Nikki Haley. bringing your house slave mentality, being used as to whip your brothers and sisters into what? You're welcome to come on the show. This is the Nearly Go Around podcast. We'll be right back after these messages. Thank you for listening to another short episode of the Nearly Go Around podcast. I am Ronaldo McKenzie. Please subscribe for free on any platform and donate to us at anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. Visit us at theneoliberal.com. And we are all about serving the world today to solve tomorrow's challenges by making popular what was the monopoly. And just before I end, my fraternity brother Maurice said, I must admit, I said that Nikki Haley is unacademic and unintelligent. And my fraternity brother said, what if somebody was to make that accusation against you? I must admit, that accusation is very terse. It's very trenchant. It's a trenchant accusation, but I stand by it. I stand by it. She's unacademic and unintelligent. Now, if you say that of me, this Ronaldo is unacademic and unintelligent, what's going to be my response? I'm going to say, what about me is unacademic and unintelligent? I want to find out. I want to know. This is silly. This is my concepts. Yeah. What about my concepts are unacademic and unintelligent? What is radical about them? Example, like what? That's what I'm talking. This provides. But this is what Nikki Haley should. I'm hoping that Nikki Haley will do too. She would respond to what? Okay, let me, Mr. McKenzie, come on my podcast and respond to the challenges. I'm hoping that it should be so riled up. But as I said to you, some people think that others are beneath them. Okay, I have to be. If I were a CNN or probably a Don Lemon, whatever happened to Don Lemon? Anyway, I don't watch CNN. I don't watch CNN anymore, but as much anymore. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, people stream now. Yes. So that is why people need to. You need to come. That is why you listen to Neil. That's why you must come on my podcast. Podcast is the next revolutionary thing. I'm telling you that. Yeah, everybody. Really? Yes, everybody. He just started 2 days ago. Tyrese Maxey. Okay. Nikki Haley, come on my podcast and respond to my challenges. Okay? Because they can change. Okay, I provide an opportunity for you to respond and to let my fans and audience. By the way, I want to thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Yesterday, we broke record. Between 6 p.m. and midnight last night, we generated 112 views or listenership plays on the podcast. 112 persons listened to my podcast between 6 p.m. and midnight last night, and it was a breaking record. And I want to thank you. But also donate to us, anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support. We need your donation. We need your support because we have several projects that we're working on that we want to do to make this podcast even better, and we want to ensure that we continue to provide it free. And we have several things that we want to do, several big projects that we're thinking of doing. And say, for example, the book Neoliberalism, Globalization, the neoliberalism that we're working on about to be published. We want to provide some of it available and affordable, and we use this podcast to supplement that and to promote our efforts and make it available to people who can't afford it in other countries. And there's several other things that we're doing, providing news commentary, well-researched information. Please support us. We're a think tank, digital media, news commentary movement that is all about making popular what was the monopoly, providing academic support to and web hosting services, writing paper services, production, audio production, and podcast services. We are also on YouTube. And coming up next on the podcast, of course, we said the special address to the Caribbean Thought students at JTS by Mr. Castro. It was really good. The students really engaged Mr. Castro and had some really insightful questions. Thank you so much, guys. Subscribe, follow us, and send us a feedback. What good?